Alright, welcome back everyone. Here we are after 13 days of building. Hopefully going to finish up tonight. I think it should be a fairly straightforward final day. Fingers crossed if nothing goes wrong. Just got to put our sides on, our back on, mount up our roof in our front, and then do our wiring. And a little detail over here on the side. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure that's everything we got to do tonight. So, without any further ado, if you're new here, this is what I do. I buy these kits and build them step by step, mostly in real time. You get to see all my successes and all my failures and how I hopefully fix those inevitable failures as they come up. Upload daily and just try and have a good time. We're not solving the world's problems, just building silly little models, having a bit of fun. You see any kits or builds or sets you want to take a shot at, feel free to drop in the comments. I'm always looking to add onto my list, and I've got the most intelligent audience on YouTube because y'all provide me with nothing but the best of options. Now, it's tempting to just go for the window. I need to make sure I line up with the top. Just remembered that. Because this has got that same sort of folding over deal here, so that's what we need to make sure we're getting. Once we get it straightened in, get those corners. Well, you can't see the corners there, ones like that. Get those corners lined up there and there. That's sort of 45-degree corner there. And that should get pretty close on our window outline. I think our window frame will cover the extra here. Go just a smidge, that'll be even better. Yeah, so we want that vertical. I've got a pointer here. I'm going to try and get this vertical to line up with the outside of this vertical so we can get that fold all the way over and around like we did on this side. So I'm going to apply my glue and put it on really gently, flip it over so I can see, and hopefully line it up just so, and then maybe everything will come together and it'll work perfectly. But got my B7000. This is the one that's sort of trying to not work, but I'm gonna make it. Basically, just kind of having to squeeze much harder than I think I should have to on this. And we're actually doing on the fold side. I'm using super glue. This is just to hold down the main body of the wallpaper, I guess. Sort of the same thing. This is the cover, basically. I'll make sure I get fairly close to the window without going too far into it. I want to do. Doesn't take a tremendous amount. This may be too much, but the dots seem to work pretty good for me. Okay. Like I said, gonna gently drop this on fairly close to the window. Before I mush it down, should hold it on long good enough for me to get things lined up, and that looks pretty good on both sides to me. Bottom could go up a shade. Okay, so sort of flush at the bottom. How's the top looking now? Yeah, I think that'll get us, because this one, I'm more worried about this one than this one, because this one's got the back cover is going to go on top of that fold. Okay, and that's a window. Make sure that frame's going to cover for us on the window. So we're going to cover everything, all our exposed bits there. So I'm going to start pushing it down. Still, I've got my little squeegee that I've been using pretty much since I started this channel. Let me come back a little bit. I think I may have moved it when I. Okay. Make sure I didn't mess anything up here. Not looking good. Bottom. Alright. And I know it's literally sitting here somewhere within my arm's reach, but I cannot find it for the life of me. is underneath something and I haven't moved whatever that something is. It was just a little cheapo squeegee I got with a screen protector kit for my phone. You know, one of those things you sort of push the air bubbles out, and that thing worked like a dream. Got a marker here with a fairly rounded edge. Maybe that'll be good. Of course, I don't have any support under this corner too, so I'm also a little worried about knocking things down. Okay. Yeah, that's done a pretty good job of smoothing things out. I say just. Yeah, that feels alright. That's a nice rounded edge on a marker. This is what I'm going to try and use to camouflage. That's as close to the green as I can find. I had these alcohol markers forever and I just never get a chance to use them, so I figured this would be a good time. I can be pretty precise with it. Okay. So we got you here, and last, like I said, going to use the Gorilla Super Glue to take care of our flaps. Get it sort of rolled over, get the crease going on our edge. Maybe I should just do one crease at a time. That might have been where I messed up last night. I had two creases, so I had it rolling over all the way over. So I'm just going to leave that one fairly open. And with this particle wood, it soaks the super glue up, so I like to do 2 layers on it to make sure I put basically a layer down to soak in, and it gives me something else to put the real actual sticky layer in to glue on. It goes on real thick to start with, and then, like I say, it just soaks it right up. Just go now, a little more in there, I think. Looks like there's plenty on there, more than I meant to be actually, but should still work. Let's try and spread it some. So, hand you over. On the wire, so I'm wobbling a good bit. Didn't think about that tonight. I think I did last night. You know, friction. Go and get some warm. Maybe the heat seems to make that glue stick a little better. Okay. It doesn't seem to be sticking down on this back end, but maybe I can get it with a second. What's that? Because this is not as. Since it's not going under the wood, it's a little more cooperative. Let's see if I can try and get those wires not be underneath there. Not because rock and roll enough as it is. We need extra. I just think I'm still get better. No, they're still there. Yeah, it's a little fairly stable with all, if I can get all the wires to tuck underneath our thing here. Okay. So that should be. Pop up a little bit for me to go. The tight spaces here should be all right. I think it's going to be enough on there to hit it. Excess here, solid. Just glad I didn't glue myself to it yet. I did say yet. Okay, not a little gap right there, but I think I'm going to let it ride. Okay. I'm going to do the front first because I'm not, like I said, I've got something going to go over at this back flap. So I'm not too concerned about it getting marred up because the back cover is going to cover the whole thing. But I'm going to try to lay it down like that. And actually, before I even crease it, I'm going to try and put the first layer on. Basically, letting it act like a sealant on the top of that wood. Second layer, maybe. We'll see where things go. To be sticking pretty good. I do see already I'm going to have a little issue right there. That's sticking out a little bit further on this side. So, but the front cover should take care of us on that. I think there's a front cover on this one. Should be, yeah. Yeah, that should take care of us on that. And this is seems to be sitting down in place pretty good. No. Just got to get in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and notch this last little bit because like I said, I know it's going to be an issue, so just take a that out right now. Just that little sliver there to hopefully a little bit more. Okay, I think that's going to work. Just a little bit back, a little bit more access there. And like I said, this is going onto paper, so it's not as bad. Down here where you all can't see. Not intentionally, just the way it's going to work out. pretty much right on money. Usually I'm not that good about that. But nice. A nice good line on the going around the border. You know, little, like I say, this side does look better and less worn than this side, because I didn't, because I waited to do the last of the creasing. Now, one more to go back here. Put it back. I didn't think this one was going to take 15 minutes to do one side, but I'm being a little particular on getting everything lined up. Sort of. Okay, same sort of thing. Just lay down one layer for it to stick to. Getting low on glue, so I'm gonna turn it sideways. I'm gonna put this one on the paper so that might be more advisable, so it doesn't have a chance to soak in as much. Spread out nice and even. Now this will be the one I'm probably going to glue myself down to. Alright. Staying down pretty good. Turn the end of my finger green. I think that was from earlier though. Alright, so that's... Yeah, bottom corner up here is looking good, and I just realized I put my stocking up too high. Because that wrap's gonna come down over top of it. You see, did I do the hot glue? I think I did. I can turn on the hot glue gun and get it ready to go. Hopefully, yeah. Ooh, tearing good. Hopefully I can. That. There. Okay, did do a little bit of damage there, but should still be okay. Just gonna write it down to where it's not gonna stick over my border there. Okay, I could. No, obviously I could just put it back on after I put it in, but I don't think I want to do all that. Okay. Grab hold and just move you down a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And it's sort of the same thing with the top of my hat here. I'm just gonna, it's gonna go up against the ceiling, so I'm gonna go just pop the tip off. So now I got clearance on my border there, I hope. Okay. That no more. Excuse me. Now we just got our back cover going on. The middle here. It sort of does a good job of lining up with the lines around the corners here. I sort of showed last night. And it's gonna fold down over the top. Same sort of thing all the way around on the middle here. And these edges are gonna cover up our bevels there. Okay. Starting off. And on this one, I do want to make sure and get pretty close to the edges because this is out on its own. So, I'm going to try and do an actual bead on this one on the up and down each side. Not get that far off the edge. probably want to do a bead across the bottom as well now that I'm thinking about it. I'm doing beads. Be ample. Same thing, get it on here and lined up our top. That's what we're really going to be worried about. Get over into glues on the sides. Lines, the yellow lines are lined up pretty good on one side. Let's see if I can get. Okay, evidently I didn't line up either side the same. Let's have that feel on there. Crease feels pretty good on our line there. So, and get that marker back out. Okay, a pretty good job. And, yeah. Now, one more time. On the back. I did get some glue on my fingers on that one. I probably squeezed out the side and got on the marker, I think. But this one's a little short one, so it should be alright. All the way across, because it's going to be covering up those beveled edges. Showing you all, I did scrape through my green a little bit again. That's where I'm picking it up. But it seems to be staying down pretty good. Okay. Just got one more. That to go. Get you back a little bit. I can get the glue on that edge. Down. A couple of my leaves underneath there, but I'll be alright. There it goes. Oh. Okay, here we go. And I'm real pleased with how that turned out. I've got a little glue contamination on there, but on the camera it didn't seem to be showing that good. You know, it oozed out a little bit and got some discoloration. I'm really pleased how that bit border turned out. So that's another yay. Okay, like I said, I'm going to try it, see how this looks with this green. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Let's get that edge. Yeah, And the more of it there is, the less good it looks. But it's still a pretty good job of, I think, a little camouflage like I'm always going for. I don't under any illusion that this is going to blend perfectly. Just sort of try and make the worst of it go away. It's not as obvious when it's not bright white on the dark green. Okay, so that's that page. Okay, now I'm going to disagree with them because they're saying to put the window on first, then go on do the other side. But doing the other side means laying it down, so I don't want to lay it down on the window and be all wobbly while I'm trying to work on this side. So I'm doing this side first, and then I'll do the windows second, because this is a broader surface, so it's going to be more flat and stable when it's all said and done, I think. But that's my logic or guess at this point anyway. So let's get that bit out. Okay, so we got that's our little holder. I'm pretty sure that's going to end up going on I think that goes on, yeah, that goes on the bottom down here. Okay, should have done that last night too. But we're going to make us a little Christmas tree with our cutouts that we did last night as well. Okay, so we got these three. Let's say just sort of stacking them up, get the effect going. I guess actually first thing we need to mount this guy on. I think I'm going to go hot glue with this one as well. Maybe I'll do a combination of both. I'll do hot glue on this bottom part and some of the B7000 across the top. And that should give us a good, instant bond plus long-term stability, hopefully. Pliability, whatever you call it. Let's do some more dots around the ring here. We're going to go on there, just a dab of hot glue down here, a little line, see how quick I can get it in place. Centered and, yep. There we go. Okay. Maybe I should have done hot glue on both sides. Okay, but I think my little clamp will reach here, and I got space for it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I got my chimney in the way there or something here. Maybe chimney's solid too, so I should be able to go on that. Nope. I knew it was going to be stretching it on that one. Okay. Top will have to do. Okay, while that's doing its thing, I'm thinking this is just supposed to line up. Yeah, this sort of evens out the circumference at the bottom. Stick with the hot glue on this. Way too much hot glue. So we're doing a little overlap there. Let's see if I can get yeah, see, you sort of got that, make that the line there. Sort of obvious we're not trying to make it flush and even, because it wouldn't be. Okay. And more reasonable amount of hot glue on this one, maybe. There. tree. Go on like so or something. You're not going down far enough on the bottom there, but okay, Sarah. Okay, so do a little. You think that's what it's more supposed to look like? Yeah, I should have dropped it a little bit more than that. But I'm willing to live with it. Now, most of these are meant to be our ornaments and whatnot for their tree, so we'll hang on to that. But rather than using the gold garland, they gave us yellow to garland with. So why not? Let's see, they just got it going. I'm just gonna grab my snips. Oop, getting everything here. From like here to here, so about like that. Corner there. It would stick a lot better than that. That's all right there. Okay. Got a little overzealous with that first bit of glue. Let's try again. It's supposed to look like. And just here-ish. So, like that. Just a dab on there. Into it. Another little dab. Yeah. Even there. Now I'm pulling up the tree. Okay. Didn't think about that. Over there. I got like 6 runs of this stuff. And the plan, I'm trying to see what they. Okay, no, just 2 more, just 1 more across and back again. Okay. So, over to here. I'm going to try on this stuff rather than on felt. Okay. I don't know what strings are showing up there for y'all, but it's everywhere here. And supposedly 1 more just right there, so just a little. Like that. Let's see what happens if I just go a line straight across, maybe. I think that might be the trick. Just do a nice line, little line, so it's got all the little fibers to hang on to. Okay. Oh, and actually, we're supposed to put the top and front in the same. I couldn't use my clamp. I put the top in first, so I'm glad I didn't do that. Okay. Now, I heard that supposedly this guy is supposed to be some of our ornaments. Supposed to trim it into slices. fairly thick, I think. Because I've tried to do the thin ones before and it didn't work. Maybe I can do, that may be a little too thick, looking at it. Yeah, that's more the size I want. I think that one's thick enough to go in half. And tempt fate with that one too. It's a little bit of a thick boy. Keep hitting. That's about right. Give us a little cake. And that went crooked on me. Okay. Try one more off of this thing. Try and actually do the real thickness. That's better. Okay. Okay, and this is our, start off with those and that. A star for the top. And I don't see any other place to use these little snowflakes and all the other doodads and who's and what's they gave us. I'm going to definitely use some of the snowflakes. Maybe I'll put them on the background. It needs to be. They're holographic snowflakes. You can't not put them in the thing. Well, most of them's holographic. That one wasn't. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have it be. Well, I've got it zoomed in too far. I'm going to have it snowing in our blue background here. Get enough of these guys out. Oh, that's not a snowflake. I'm going up to the star again. I think that would be enough of those, and they're just using stars and using. Okay, some of the red ones are supposed to be on here too. These are tiny red ones. Yeah, I got some more substantial red ones in my bead box. Yeah, if I use them. I used them all up on the tree though. I got the purple and stuff. I got some multicolored ones. I'm going to grab some multicolored ones. Let's see if I can get a hold of them. Just maybe 4 or 5 of these. I'm pretty sure they were originally for the Christmas tree ornaments for somewhere. That's not one, that's squishy. Back here. Maybe one more. Oh, I got a yellow one there. It's work. Okay. So I think this will be enough of our decorations. I'm gonna put you guys aside and get to it. Cap the knife before I grab hold to the wrong end with it. Experience has taught me that's not fun. Okay, so how many snowflakes did I end up with? 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 snowflakes. So, I still got some hot glue string there. Let's just do 8 dots then. tweezers work. The famous six-sided snowflakes. This one didn't get the holographic treatment, so I'm a little oddball. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Okay. And our star is supposed to go on the top here. I'm looking at this thing, I'm wondering, I think these things are sticking out too far for our glass to go over the top. But, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right. Do my beads now. Come back here. Okay. Now our little cupcake decorations. Still, I don't think I've ever hung cakes up on my tree before, so. Or tarts or whatever those are supposed to be. I'll just do 4 of them, it looks like. Okay. I need to put another ball right here in the middle, don't I? Yep. Find one here. Red one there, that'll work. I lost it. There it is. Okay. Where'd he go? Okay, put that all in there. This should be sticking down all right now. Now, yeah, but it does not fit over top of the pipe cleaners. Okay. So. Okay. I'm just not gonna have that then. Yeah. I'll just not have my window on top of it. I don't think that would have added much to the look anyway. Right, we can add our Merry Christmas sign down here on the bottom. Something like that. Let's do that one. Alright, So now, since I'm leaving that exposed, I believe I'm going to let that glue get good and dry. And try and get the last of these strings from the hot glue gun out. I think hot glue gun, maybe it wasn't. But like I say, those are, most of those are those, multicolor hologram snowflakes. That'll be a nice effect. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and sit there for a few minutes so I can go ahead back and put the, all we got left on the actual structure is the window and the front panel and the top panel's way back there. Okay, get all things. And our top panel. So I'll come back, we'll knock those out and do the wiring right quick, and we'll call this one finished. So right back. Okay, it's been a minute or two, so it should be, nothing fell off. Cool. So now, see, got the windows top and side, and so I was planning on having a cover over my tree before I did this, so let's, okay, so let's see here. Get my old phone stand out here, and maybe just rather than put it on, see if I can't just get it sit. Yeah, sit on there like that, so I'm not actually into the tree or anything. Give me a little bit of an angle here to figure this out. You are gonna be pretty particular. A little more. Not going to take that much more of an angle. So, okay, I'll just hold it for this point. Okay, so if we can get it on like that, that's going to be our best option. Let me, okay, I got an idea. Let me put some clamps on here, so that'll sort of prop it up. The other side, yeah. So you don't want it. No, that's not going to be strong enough for me to try. Just one binder clamp down the middle, maybe. That gives enough. That's still going to be wobbly. Okay. Okay, then next step, find me something to prop it up on. Gotta have something in here. Ah, there we go. Gonna use these in a few minutes, so get my shrink wrap tubes out. That's a good, should be a good solid. Yeah, okay. Now, and now we're cooking. So that's like that. That's my goal. So let's do dots around the edge here. Just get as close as I can to the edge without hopefully not going over too far. Trying to make it not go onto the actual glass. It's going to anyway, but still. Just experience tells me that. Well, they're pretty lightweight, so that should be enough glue. Now, tweezers. A little sideways grip there. And yeah, I think let's probably won't reach that far. Let's see. No, it'll snap off if I do. Can do it from the side. No, there's nothing behind it to clamp on the side. Okay, well maybe if I can get right on that. Yes, yeah, right. Nope. Okay. Alright, but it seems to be hanging in there. Let's see, it's, I think. It's sort of stretching against the glue there, so. Well, the glue's sort of stretching out rather. It's a little bit of a gap. I don't think it'd be a weather-tight house, but I think it'll stay in place with that. Now, I'm just noticing that there's no, I guess well, I'm too low. Top of the chimney is about the only place that there's a guide for our roof. And this says this goes above our, so that's like the only really glue spot we got. It's going to wedge in. Now it wedges in pretty tight, so I think that might be okay, but it doesn't over here. Okay. The back it's wedged in pretty tight, and the front it's pretty loose. If I go all the way down to the chimney here, let's see how's this one line up now? What's in place? Okay, so that's probably right, because we want it to be, don't want it sticking up over top of our front. So yeah, we want it down fairly low, and that it's uneven right here shouldn't be an issue as far as appearance goes, because it's going to be, like I say, you can see right there it's sagging a good little bit, but I think that'll work. Window staying in place, make sure I check on that. Yeah. Okay, so out of there. So now I just got to figure out where to put the glue. Obviously, top of the chimney. And I guess otherwise, I'm going to put some dots randomly around the side. I think that's going to be the way to go with that. So just a good, kind of lock in pretty tight, I think. There, and then so just a few dots on the back, maybe. Likewise, just work it down the side here. Not really. I have an idea most of this is going to squeeze out the top when I start putting it in. Okay, so that way, sort of spread it out a little bit maybe. I could all the way down. Now let's get one of those cheap and cheerful. Now let's go across this top here. I think they'll probably provide enough pressure to hold. And I do have some good brand name clamps of this size in my shopping cart. I haven't ordered them yet, but they will be here pretty quick, I think. I think I'll have to pull the trigger on that. These are all the way back. Up. Got the gap closed there. Okay. Now, this goes in the front here. So we got And it is lined up with there, so I can put a little glue across the front of the roof here and across our floor there. And that's probably going to be enough glue for us to hold that in place. I'm trying to be not overly generous, but to make sure I got enough that it's not going to go anywhere. Actually, it's not even hitting over there. It'd be on this thing here. Here, yeah. These are out a little bit further than the floor, so that's where we're going to go. Those vertical ones. And these will be along there. I think I'll do a little bit more here just because I think this is going to be holding everything together. And there goes Neo into her litter box again, so let me slap this on right quick and we'll let her have her privacy. Alright, be right back. Stand it up to get it lined up good. Okay, and I'll be right back when she's done. Okay, so we got, I think it's, she took her time, so I think that's good on that. There's our front cover, our roof. Let's see, that window lined up pretty good. Of course, our little decorative non-covered tree. If I'd known it was not going to work like that, I would have put that orange around the wood like I was planning on. I thought I was supposed to do last night. But we are down to just our wiring now. They gave us, I think, I either missed a light or they gave us a spare. Got one behind the tree, got that there, one in the tree. Got 4 in there. Can't imagine there's more than that. We'll see where else for them to run one. Usually if they're going to put one in like that, they'll put in the roof. I didn't see any notation about one on the roof. No. Nothing about that. I think it was just a spare. Okay. Looks like it. Alright. I think there's going to be plenty of light for it, but that's sort of surprising. Okay, they gave us a spare light bulb. And then got our switch. And the included batteries. Which, you know, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. A couple of jumper wires. Actually, those might have been other jumper wires. I got a bunch of jumper wires. I don't think there are that many in the kit. And let's see, where am I going to go? Let's see, I think I'll stick with laying it on the side here. Shrink wrap. Actually, let me get a couple pieces of shrink wrap before I do that. We need 4 of them ought to get me. Take a couple of long ones just to make sure. Have them handy. Okay. Ease you back down there. So I got access to all my wires in here. Keep going a little bit. Yeah. And these are pretty good as far as, you know, you get good color differentiation. I've seen some that I have doubts that they, you know, they were all pretty much the same wire, same colored wire. So let me, first thing, just go ahead and pop these guys off. Just twist the grays together with the other. I was going to do like real soldering on these, but then it took me longer than I thought it would, so I don't want to. That would take way too long, and I was trying to get this in a decent amount of time, and I think I've missed decent. I know y'all don't complain much about it, but I think the casuals come up and see, I'm not going to watch an hour video on that. I know I do. Well, if you're looking for step-by-step, you're probably used to it. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Okay, load apart. Okay, make the T like I know to do. Not a whole lot of wires in these little. They have to saw it from there. They're not. I don't feel like they're twisting. Okay, at least stay together that time. Okay. Oh, forgot my. Connectors. These are teeny little wires. I think get some teeny little connectors. That's the last of my teeny ones. I think I've ordered some more. I've got some around here somewhere, I bet. But need them. Yeah, I remember ordering them, so just a matter of remembering where I put them down. But that should be alright. We're just going to be joining all the grays and all the whites, so two and two should be enough. And where'd my... Okay, so switch. And why is there a... Yeah. There's our switch cover. Switch is going to go in there. Yeah, that does wedge in there. I don't like that because it moves around. I've had these where it moves around a lot like that. And I don't end up pushing them out, and it's already okay. So those are in. So just a matter of going. Linking our loose wires up to the gray and the white, all the grays and all the whites go together. Let's see here, one of these looked a little grayer than the others. It might have been, like I said, might have been left over. And I will have to use the jumper to get from over up here on the tree to these back here. Actually, they're all going to end up going that way. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so I'll just go. Okay, I got a plan. This one's long enough to get back here to these, so I'll fuse all these together, and then I'll run them up here and fuse them, these two into those two. Yeah. Fuse is probably not the right word, but join them together. Okay. So, more gray. Pick that up. Okay, that'll stick in there. Okay, it did. And the white one. Let's see, these are they save some money on copper with these wires. There's not many strands at all in the inside of them. Okay. Now, well, actually, if I'm doing these, I don't need the shrink wrap because that's all built in on there. Okay. So you. all the way through. 3 of them in there, alright. And get my jumper wire. A little extra. These guys twisted up. Straighten it out. And the solder joint over top of the wiring. Get down all the way in on this. I'm not sure it's going to show through there on camera or not. As I got the loose wires underneath our little solder band in there. And get my little torch out and try not to melt the other wires while I do this. See it flow in. I'll do a little bit from the other side too, just to make sure I get. I think I just melted. Nah, it stayed intact. Thought I melted away my insulator there. I do want to hit that other white band there to that sort of binds it together. Alright. Now that one's good to go. And I think I'm going to go ahead and now these. I'm going to put this on the outside. Okay, pop this back out. And through there, wedge you in. Okay, so that's gonna hold that on the outside. Got it anchored in place basically. And I'm working on the white wire, so I'm gonna go get some extra hot glue here. It looks like too. Okay, that was not mine. Okay, so I want to go. I'm just going to go ahead and complete the white wires at this point. So. So I'm going to join all 3 of these white wires together. Gotta put a connector on. Okay, gonna trim off some excess here. Hope I left enough of it there to anchor it in. I think I'll have to go the other way on that one. Actually, you know what? I'll do that later. I'm gonna need the slack here. Wire's barely long enough for that. These guys together. I've got wire nuts, but I don't think the wire nuts be. Nope, I think they'd be too small for the wire nuts to hang on to here. So, there. Get the wire joint down there underneath it. Okay. The wire to not come in here. Solder first. Try not to set anything else on fire. Really saw the solder flow on that one. Hope it showed up on camera. Yep. Nope, don't catch that on fire. Okay, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. Okay. Now, same thing with the gray wires. Just grab me a jumper wire. Strip off the end here. I think I did strip off too much here. Let's try again. Okay, so. I didn't do enough. Okay, that's about what I want. Okay. Oh, connector. And actually I could have put it on the other end too, so it's alright. It wasn't that big a deal on this one. And then my grays came apart again. Okay, all four of these guys. And maybe I won't set fire to everything this time. We're almost set fire to everything. Singed my leather a little bit. There we go. Now that's got it. And last connection here. Thread this on while I'm thinking about it. You. Third one in. And we're back to fire hazard zone. Right next to the paper. There, got a nice flow on that one. Okay. Now, the battery's out, and see how this goes. Easier said than done. Get the shrink wrap off of it. Do this without cutting me or my leather here. think we do these with the, like that on this one. We'll find out together if it worked. Not flip it and find out from there. Okay. I hope the battery's in upside down. Okay. Okay, and we do have lights. Alright. And these knock these on down. Toolbox out of the way so I can drop everything. Right. Oh, other way. Yeah, there we go. Nice and well lit. The sign up in the corner is very readable up here in person. It doesn't overpower it like it does on the phone, on the camera. Got our fireplace is lit up. And I say it's the camera's like picking up a whole lot more light. Well, the camera's overcompensating. That's more what it looks like to me. When let's say you got nice light in our fireplace, well lit, and the whole cottage shows up good. Yeah, all right. So that's always a relief. Now turn those off and run you through here. In the back. And got a hot glue. Well, hot glue. So they get the blue light. I'm gonna do a couple of hot glue tacks on the switch, and then hot glue. I had it seems like every time I have one of these, the switch pops out. So just a little extra on there, and some on that. Just to ease you down in place. And still works. Alright. Now they're like saying build like a little box and everything for the underneath, but I'm not feeling that. They included a cover here, so I'm just going to let everything sort of, let's see how, I don't know if it'll go in there tight enough or not, but if I can just sort of wedge everything in, I'm going to live with it. Yeah. It's not tight, but it's staying in place enough to keep the wires concealed. Still works. That's everything we want from a book nook. A side window. So you can see all our little windows. Nice well lit up Christmas tree. Probably should have buried that LED a little bit deeper into the shrubbery on the Christmas tree, but it does do a good job of lighting up everywhere else here on this side of the house. Yeah, I say it's a lot of work to do kits like this, but it's also very rewarding. It's sort of, as long as you know what you're getting into when you start and take it all in stride, it's not that bad. And I gotta say, it does feel good to get this together And there's a very good sense of accomplishment when you do something like this for yourself. I remember the first time I got one like this, I didn't realize what I was getting into. I think it took me like 3 or 4 weeks to get it done, because I was still doing short videos at that point. Shorter videos. But yeah, I really like that. That's a good looking kit. That's probably the best one of these manual ones, I guess you can call it manual, that I've done. Maybe the Sea Breeze is a little bit better, but this one, I'd like to say, I'm feeling it for the $18, $20 price range. This is alright. I really like all the details. Instructions left something to be desired. But you also get to play with it yourself. You know, like I said, there's supposed to be a dinner table there, and I don't see any way that could have possibly fit. And so that's why I substituted in their little footstool there. But yeah, that's a fun little build. Nothing, you know, I say, keep an open mind, know what you're getting into. I think is worth picking up. Okay, I'm going to call it quits there. We are going to start up tomorrow on the much requested space shuttle. I've been looking forward to that since I got it. But it came in right as Christmas was starting. I knew I was going to have trouble getting this one specifically done in time, so I decided to go ahead and jump into the Christmas builds a little bit earlier than normal. But like I say, we're starting up on the rocker space shuttle tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, complain, share, do whatever you want to with all of that. Be good to one another, stay safe, and click on a link. There's my channel over there if you'd like to subscribe. There's my other channel where, you know, I'm eventually going to do something else over there. That's what YouTube thinks you should be watching. And over here is the playlist for this build. I'll see you tomorrow.